Zach with us after day one of the much-anticipated Browns training camp. And I said to Zach, what did we learn after one day? And your answer was?
Nothing.
Nothing. We learned nothing after one day. Well,
we learned where to stand in the shade. That's what we learned.
You found the spots?
Oh, yeah.
That's
a veteran move.
Especially yesterday. It was a big difference between shade and sun.
I had binoculars, so we stood in the friends and family section for as long as possible under covered shade.
Smart. That's smart.
And then
that's a veteran move right there by you guys.
Yeah, we've seen some things.
Yeah, you got some like the young reporters, the newbies.
They're aggressive. They're standing in the sun, sweating, getting third-degree burns.
I'll be at practice next Tuesday.
Will you be eating Pop-Tarts during practice?
No, I'm going to probably have to stop at like Cane's or something before I go. Probably have that, and then I'll go watch practice.
My daughter is addicted to Cane's.
I know. She had to order last year at the draft. You had to order her some.
Man, good memory.
That's right. That was a good memory. All right, Zach. So what? I guess if we didn't learn anything, what was interesting, maybe, if anything, that you saw out there yesterday?
Not a ton. It was kind of like you and your jeans. It's the same stuff we've seen, right? They just left them and they picked off.
That's good.
No, it looked like the spring practice.
Yeah.
And I think it's going to be today. By rule, by the collective bargaining agreement,
yeah.
You're limited on time. No pads, no contact. Get out. You make sure nobody pulls anything. You kind of go through the stuff. I saw one new footwork drill with the quarterbacks. Otherwise, I saw the exact same stuff. I didn't see a ton of good throws. I saw maybe one good one from everybody. Saw a number of bad ones. And so they're going to go 4 practices. They're going to go another short one today.
Right.
Then 2 longer ones, then take a break. And Kevin said, and this is how all of camp goes, but the first one is when you really notice it. On the off day, the coaches grade everything, and they plan everything. The new itinerary comes out.
Right.
So the first time we're going to see movement, if anything, in the reps, in the order, in the depth chart, and any of that would be next week. And that's when the pads come on, and that's when there'll be probably 2 out of 3 really intense practices.
Kevin Stefanski, as we all know, rarely says anything of value in any press conference. It's all coach speak, no answers. But there were 2 things I found at least a little interesting. One was the fact that he said that they're going to kind of speed up the process to pick the starting quarterback.
Yeah.
And 2, that he said that they're going to actually hit in practice, which they haven't really done in years past. What do you make of those 2 things?
A couple times they have.
Okay, all right.
The first day the pads come on, there's usually like some, but by rule, like all the old inside run drill and stuff, that's all out of the mix now, right? So I do look for the tempo to pick up next week, and I do then think we'll be able to see how some things go. But this is a team that kind of has its 22 with a few exceptions, and then we want to see how the young guys, and except for the quarterback, right? So I can't say they have the 22.
They got the 21.
Right. Yeah. So this is the first of 6 weeks of preseason, right? And week 4 is when they go to Philly. So you would love to have your starter by then, because then you're still 3.5 weeks from actual games.
Right.
And that's when you have 2 practices, playing the Super Bowl champs. You would love to go there and treat it like a game week.
Right.
Because let the rookies and the young guys play on the weekend, but have your number 1 offense go against arguably the best defense in the league. So the ideal world, the Browns don't live in it, but that's kind of the timeline.
Yeah. Makes sense.
When you look at the 2 young quarterbacks, obviously it's always been big on Dylan and Shedeur. Obviously, you've seen them through spring. You've seen them through 1 practice. What would your depth chart look like after 1 practice?
Well, we're seeing a lot more of Dylan. The reps sort of even out, but he gets the chances with the first, and he always jumps in the first. Like they do a run-through drill, and there's only enough guys for 3 units. So Pickett gets 2, and Dylan gets 2, Flacco gets 1, Shedeur gets 1. Okay. But, as far as them seeing, what I see, Dylan has plenty of arm strength. I think he's been inconsistent. I think Shedeur has been mostly accurate on his good ones. When it leaves his hand, right? I didn't see him brimming with a ton of confidence yesterday. I can remember 1 good throw. So we'll see. It's hard. What I'm looking for, Tyvis, is are they getting rid of the ball quickly? And like I said, when they do know where they're going, when they want to go with it, how good does it look then? Because plays break down quickly. And the thing I'm really watching with Shedeur, not just this week, but more the next couple of weeks, is can he earn some chances? Because when you're out there with XFL guys, undrafted rookies, it's going to be hard. And Dylan, based on where he was drafted and based on mini camping yesterday, is getting chances occasionally with the 1s, but more with the 2s. 2s, 3s rather than 3s, 4s.
Going back to Bull's point about the hitting, and you and I talked about this while we were watching practice yesterday. You brought up the point, Kevin's in a tough spot. You want to hit, but you can't lose a guy in the preseason, but you were also one of the ones that pointed out last year was camp daycare.
Yep.
So where's the line on this? And Tyvus, you know this well from going through it. Where's the line on this of you have to hit and you have to play football to get ready to play football, but you can't expose guys to injuries?
Yeah, well, you got to do it early. Like Monday when the pads come on, I'm expecting like line up 11 on 11, and they're going to run Kevin Stefanski run plays at the number 1 defense, right? Now, nobody's going to be diving at Myles Garrett's ankles, and nobody's going to be playing through the whistle, right? But you have to do it, and you have to do it early. So, like when they go to Philly for those, the first time they go to Carolina, it's only 1 joint practice, and this is new to Kevin, both having 2 and only doing 1. But
Why would you go all the way down there for 1 practice?
Well, we're going to see. There's got to be a method to that. But I think it's just to test your guys, right? That's what I think. But I think
it's still in game reps essentially, because in the game you're not going whatever.
It's controlled environment game.
And I don't know what scheme they run, but probably they run something that probably you're going to see in a regular season. So
something different than you see every day.
So it's like let's run some plays against that to see what could work and stuff.
But
like
that day in Philly, I think you'll see Joel Bitonio and Wyatt Teller and Myles Garrett for the first day, and then not the second. Or at least not, right? You need those live reps, but you want to be smart about it. And then the preseason concludes, I believe, on August 23rd. You cut guys 3 days later. You still have 12 days then before you play. So there's plenty of – it's not a race, but you do have to do it at some point.
We were talking about the quarterback situation before the show, and you said that if it's just as simple as who gives us the best chance to win, there's really no competition, right? It's Flacco way above everybody else.
Right now there's a wide separation just from watching the spring and watching yesterday. So he's getting the fewest reps. I think today will be his day to go first and get the full lift of reps. What I want to see is next week in those 3 practices, do they give him just 1 day of lighter reps or 2? If he's going to be the starter, I think it's just 1. And Kevin has not directly said that because he doesn't answer anything, but Joe has kind of said the same thing. Like, look, guys, this is my 19th training camp. I'm 40. I've played. He's the only one that's played in this offense too, which is part of him being head and shoulders above these guys. So, August 5th, August 7th, whatever the day after the Carolina, let's see where they are. But right now, to me, it's Joe, and then you can make the case for anybody else in any other order.
I joked on the show after Dustin's wedding that Zach yelled at me at Dustin's wedding and said, Jason, Kenny Pickett is not going to be the starter. Knock it off. And I'm like, I think he is. I'm not like rooting for Kenny Pickett. I don't think he's the savior.
G. Bush,
just knowing, it's not that. It's just knowing how they think. I think that's where they're going to go. I don't think it's going to work necessarily, but I just think that's what. But anyway, so yesterday we're staying at practice. At the end of practice, I had this brilliant thought in my head, and I looked at Zach. I said, "Hey, don't hit me." And he gave me the look like, "What are you going to say now?" And I said, "Is there any chance they would carry Joe on the practice squad to carry if he says no? You know what I mean? Like if he tells teams no, I'm happy here."
Yeah.
But my thought was then you carry 4, but you're only carrying 3 on the 53. But then as I was talking through it, I'm like, but he wants to play.
Yeah.
And Zach brought up a good point. They would have to turn his money into a bonus, which is no big deal. Like they'll do that. But it's a way of carrying 4 quarterbacks while only carrying 3 on the 53. That was my.
And that's also assuming nobody else would want him.
Well,
which might be right.
And they had a month to sign him, and nobody signed him.
Yeah.
Like he sat there for a month in free agency.
About to agree to be on no practice squad.
I ultimately I talked myself out of it because he's here to play. He's not here to sit and babysit. But it was just like I'm just trying to find a way. How do you keep all 4 without carrying all 4 on the 50?
You can't.
If Joe Flacco starts, I don't see any reason to keep Kenny Pickett. To me, I would just. I mean.
I would agree with that.
There's no reason to keep any one of them if you're starting one or the other anyway.
Right. Whichever veteran starts, to me, I would let the other go. But
they spent the last 3 weeks of last August trying to make a quarterback trade, and it didn't work out.
Yeah.
The August before, they made a surprise quarterback trade, and it burned them because they didn't have a guy when DTR had to play. So you just never know. It's too early for that.
That's true.
For that discussion.
It's one of those things that you can't really carry for because the league is just going to call you a bluff. It's going to be like, you're going to cut one of them. We'll just wait.
Here's 2 things. One, it's way premature because we don't know who would become available, who's even going to stay healthy of this group, whatever. But the second thing is there's two layers. One, nobody else in the league probably wants these guys. But if somebody needs one, these guys don't make any money. by quarterback standards.
That's
so they
true.
are very tradable,
Yes.
both Pickett and Flacco. Any other quarterback, they're way at the bottom end. And that's why the Browns have these guys, right? Seeing where this happens.
Right,
but
right.
that makes them movable if it does happen, but we're weeks away.
Yeah, we got.
And, I mean, now it turns out it was nothing with Justin Fields. It looks like a dislocated toe.
Right.
But that's exactly. I mean, the starting quarterback gets carried off on a cart
Right.
on the first day.
Exactly.
A team's going to go looking for a
Yeah,
quarterback.
and the Saints don't really have a quarter. I mean, I know they're going with Tyler Shook, but who knows?
And the Titans now don't have a number 2.
They don't have a 2, right? Who is their number 2?
Brandon Allen now.
Oh gosh.
No, Kyle Allen, sorry.
Kyle Allen.
Same
the
bum,
same thing.
different name.
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
It's the same thing.
They might got both.
I wanted to talk to you about the running back spot, because obviously Judkins is out of the picture for a while, and so Jerome Ford is the starter, I guess, right now. What kind of role do you think? Like, what kind of role were you expecting for Dylan Sampson before this Judkins situation, and do you think he's capable of potentially being a bell cow back, at least in the short term, if they want him to be?
Well, first, here's why I know that we're cool in like these first 3 days of practice. Because if they were really doing something, they would have a running back in. Because Jerome Ford is not practicing.
Yeah,
he's
right,
in the building. We saw him at the walkthrough.
Yeah.
It's minor, but he's not practicing. So Pierre Strong, who's a special teams player, was the number 1 running back on the first day of practice.
Okay.
Dylan Sampson is very small. He's electric. They like him. They drafted him, as the second running back.
Yeah.
But he's very small.
What did you say yesterday?
That Dylan Gabriel looks like Joe Flacco standing next to Dylan Sampson.
It was a great line.
That's good.
It took me a minute to process. It was such a great line.
But he caught the ball out of
Yeah.
the backfield. He produced. He's quick. Is there any chance he's a full-time running back?
Yeah.
I don't know, especially not right away.
Right.
But they're going to bring in a guy, right?
Right,
And I
right.
think what they'll do, Bull, is I think they'll just bring in a guy to eat some carries, and then in a couple weeks they'll evaluate: do we need to get an older back? Is Judkins going to be here? Because they picked Judkins over Henderson because they thought Judkins was the fit.
Right.
The inside runner, the short yardage guy, they thought he was that fit. So they're going to need that kind of, because we know Ford's not that kind of guy. And
Right.
Sampson is not that kind of guy.
So do they bring in your boy Zeke? Isn't Zeke a free agent?
Feeding.
Or Jamal Williams, maybe? Somebody like that. I don't know. So, but do you think, does Dylan Sampson get 6-8 touches a game even right off the bat, you think?
I mean, if they were playing today, yeah, probably
Okay.
16 touches.
Oh, really? That would be good.
Because they don't,
Yeah.
it would be Jerome Ford and Dylan Sampson.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
and Kevin's come out and said Jerome Ford is RB1, correct?
He said that yesterday.
Yeah.
He was kind of acknowledging, but
Yeah.
that's what it was. I don't think Judkins was ever going to be first drive, first game. But was Judkins going to get at least 200 touches and maybe 250, 260 on this team? Yes.
Yeah.
They immediate short yardage, immediate between the tackles, and then see how it goes. We've seen Jerome Ford perform. We've seen him be best in a number 2 role, on a complementary role. And a lot of good offenses and bad split the carries. So there's room for 3.
Yeah.
Right now they have, 1, Dylan
Yeah.
Sampson.
Yeah, that's true.
Now maybe Ford's
Yeah.
out there by tomorrow.
Yeah.
Let me look at the defensive side of the ball. I know everybody is so enamored with the offense and the quarterbacks. Did you so happen to see who was the opposite of Miles at the end, and what does that look like?
Isaiah McGuire was first.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Look
Yeah.
at that. Is Alex Wright healthy?
Yeah, he's getting back. He did not have a full spring, so I'm
Okay.
interested to see, because I thought Alex
Yeah.
Wright was really playing well last year.
He was,
before the
yeah.
injury.
Yeah. What was your prediction?
Yeah.
Double digit.
That was my bold prediction that he'd have double-digit sacks.
They added a bunch of guys,
Yeah.
and they claimed another guy yesterday, KJ Henry. But
Yeah, they traded double over
yeah,
for him.
they got a bunch of guys on like 1-year deals who've been dismissed by other teams or whatever, who they're going to see. So
Yeah.
you have Miles. You want it to work out with McGuire because he's under contract for 2 years.
What about JTS?
Yeah, he's on a 1-year deal too. He's a pass down player.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's going to try to win that oboe role.
Okay.
Right, but yeah, it is
Yeah.
interesting with Braden McGuire to see who plays the most, and then if JTS doesn't win that role, it's probably because one of those guys is in front of him.
AB's going to talk today, this afternoon. I'm sure this is going to come up when we were talking about Judkins a minute ago. The fact that they told him, stay there, worry about what you got going on. My call went through this last year. He was back at practice the next day. Mm-hmm. Is this because he hasn't signed his contract yet, or is this because, as Kevin said yesterday, they take these types of things very, very, very seriously? Do you think that they are, after everything they've been through, that they are starting to crack down on some of this off-field stuff, or is this strictly because he hasn't signed his contract yet?
Just the way Kevin said it made me believe that it is very serious, but I think the contract is the bulk of it, because it was like, obviously we're not going to sign this guy to a full guaranteed deal right after this happened.
Yeah.
And I think if he was here, he would have gone on commissioner's exempt. It had, because with Mike Hall, it was mid-August, and then it was less than 2 weeks from the cut down, so they had to make a decision. That's the day he went on commissioner's exempt. When Jabril Peppers, I always want to call him Julius, he was 5 days after his incident last year. He was on commissioner's exempt. So I think if the contract was involved, he wouldn't be here anyway. So I think the Browns are just, let this go. Let's look at NFL, get all the information. We'll get all our information, see what the next step is legally, and have him here. I mean, this is very valuable time for a rookie to miss.
Oh, yeah.
So
had he signed, had this been a normal offseason and he signed like a second-round pick normally signed, do you still think he would be away right now?
he would probably be away right now,
Okay.
yes.
Let's talk about the offensive line for a minute. Obviously, we haven't learned anything really yet, but they're relying on old guys and then DeJuan Jones, who, kudos to him, lost a ton of weight, looks like he's in great shape. How confident going into the season are you in the O-line?
If DeJuan Jones holds up, I'm very confident.
Yeah.
And we've seen the talent. We've seen this guy lock in and do it.
Yeah.
So, I'm more interested to see, is Zach Zinter going to be on the team, or is he going to have a role?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
He might not make the team, huh?
Really?
Jason, what were we hearing last year?
Absolute disaster. Total disaster.
Nice draft pick. Good
But
job.
What they do in the
but
third?
hang on. In fairness, Mike Vrabel became the offensive line coach.
Yeah,
after
that's
week
true.
3. So with it, competent coaching, does he he was so highly regarded coming out of Michigan?
I know. That's why I'm shocked.
That's why I have a hard time believing. I think he makes the team.
Okay.
They brought in this Tevin Jenkins,
Yeah,
who was like a
right.
top 30 or 40 free agent and has played well when he was healthy. He didn't sign until like 5 weeks into
Right.
free agency, which tells me that some teams just didn't view he was healthy or didn't think he could stay healthy.
Yeah.
But he's been playing left guard, Tevin Jenkins. Zinter's at right. Zinter did play some snaps at center. So this is just the whole thing. Like,
my
Yeah.
boy Luke
let's
out
see in 10 days, right? And when you do get to the joint practices and you have a chance to mix and match some guys, does Jenkins come in first when Joel goes out, or does Zinter come in first when Joel goes out? That's kind of the tell on where they are. Right now, everybody's in the second day of camp.
Is Luke Whippler out there?
He is the backup center, and from talking to the new O-line coach in the spring, he had high endorsement of Luke.
That's what we Buckeyes do, man.
I mean, I don't think his mama smiles that widely.
It's not exactly the time to brag about the Browns Buckeyes.
Hey,
today.
hey, hey,
Yeah, really.
hey.
Here.
We slip up every now and again. It was one little. It's an incident. It's
2 years in a row.
Every now and then.
Ooh, listen.
Yeah.
Annually.
What people gotta understand is
Yeah. Here we go. Here goes the Ohio State propaganda.
I am not justifying what they did in any way. It's totally wrong, and they should have never done that at all. What we got to do, though, as athletes and as a former athlete, because I catch myself with this, is that when you get around this time of the year, like naturally you just get more angrier. Like things just because you're getting prepared for battle essentially. And as an athlete, you have to learn how to tame that. You got to keep that in the building. And what these young guys are doing is they think they have to be like that off the field as well because it's their time. And they just
Need you to teach them.
that's what happens.
Straighten these guys out.
Because I feel it. Even as a former athlete,
Yeah.
I haven't played in years, but like even around this time, I always catch myself being just a little more angrier. And it's just because for 19 years, that's what it was. So we need to probably teach these young guys that
Yeah. They need guys like you teaching them.
they don't listen to me.
And what I've learned from the years too is like yesterday it's 170-minute practice. Today it's 170-minute
Yeah.
practice. But now tomorrow the crowd's out there, right? And rookies are going to have a good day, going to have a bad day. Like how are you going to process it? How are you going to stack it? Like how is Dylan Gabriel going to handle the yelling for Shedeur, right?
Right,
Like,
absolutely.
What is going to go on here when there's a fight in practice, and we'll consider that progress because it won't be Camp Cupcake.
Yeah, right,
but
sure.
can you get your aggression out and then walk away from it, right? And can these rookies like Dylan Sampson and this undrafted rookie Amani Marshall are going to move up? Like they have a chance to make an impression. They can't put too much pressure on themselves. They can't play out of themselves, but they have a chance to keep the Browns from going to sign a veteran running back.
Go ahead.
What does the receivers look like? I mean, we know
Most of them are about this high.
so like we know Judy, but like how is Tillman, Deontay Johnson? Is there anybody?
I thought it was
of
interesting
note?
that at the end of practice yesterday that Pickett and Shedeur stayed on the field, and it was all rookie receivers except for Tillman getting that extra work. So, Mike Woods is trying to make the team.
What about the kid from Mentor?
he's trying to make the practice squad. He's one of 4 undrafted rookie receivers, and you would not normally keep 4. But A, they have no clear answer behind Judy, and B, they intentionally kept more receivers just to be able to run these drills. Like get to the point in these drills, like a ball boy had to run a route for Shedeur yesterday because they just don't have the guys.
My God.
So if they're playing the game right now, Tyvis, it's Jerry Jeudy on the field every play, Cedric Tillman on the field almost every play, and then Deontay Johnson, by what we know, by what he's done, is the slot. But there's Mike Woods, there's Jamari Thrash, there's Caden Davis, there's DeAndre Carter. In a week we'll have a clearer answer on who's getting the reps. But all those rookies are way, way down at the bottom.
How much do you expect Fadden to play off the jump?
Not a lot, and I don't think that that's a bad thing.
Okay.
This is one thing to watch. Like, what do you think Stefanski offense, 2 tight ends? Like a just turned 21, Matt Guy is not a blocking tight end.
Gotcha.
So
That's
can't it
fair.
be those guys? And you can move Njoku around too. So there's an opportunity for other guys to make the team and Fannin to kind of ease in. Now, I do think Fannin has a chance to be a really good player, and there was a lot of pre-draft love for him. But I think it's a big ask right now. Given he's only been playing tight end for like 2 years.
Right. You think the plan is to let Njoku walk, or would they still like to bring him back next year?
Well, the salary cap that they're already committed to says they would like to extend him and push it further down.
Okay.
He just needs to be consistent. I mean, Njoku's highs have been really good, but he's had 8 good games in 8 years.
Yeah. Yesterday we were talking. ESPN's been doing these series of top 10 at each position based on executives and whatever, and Denzel Ward was 3rd on the corners, and obviously he's been a consistently very good player. He's never been an All-Pro. He's been multiple Pro Bowler, but not an All-Pro. I guess the only thing in his game we were talking about is like he's never had more than 3 sacks. Every year he has 2 or 3, interceptions, 2 or 3.
He dropped like 6 last year.
Yeah. Do you see, like, is there another level to his game?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so. I think it's getting those interceptions.
Yeah.
And I think it's being on good teams. But Denzel Ward is really good. I've thought that all along.
Yeah.
And I thought last year was his best year. And people have knocked him for the injuries. He's never missed more than 4 games in a year.
And he stayed healthy last year.
People are basically begging him to walk away, and he's like, "No, I'm done the research. Like, I do not want to quit football because of my concussions. I want to do this." They pushed all his money forward last year. He had perfect attendance in the offseason. He had a phenomenal season.
Yeah.
I think he's kind of grown into a leadership role. He's a very quiet guy by nature.
Yeah.
Like, this is what if you're making the case for the Browns can be better than people think, right?
Yeah.
You're looking at no other defense or few other defenses have building blocks like Myles Garrett and Denzel Ward. I mean, those
That's
guys
fair.
are phenomenal.
I was actually going to ask you what is the strength of this team, but I guess defense is a pretty obvious answer. So instead, I'll tell you how much I love this man. I love him like a brother, but he's lost his damn mind because he says the Browns are going 8-9.
No. 7-9. The Quinshon,
7
it was.
and 10.
Yeah, 7 and 10.
They're going to quit.
No.
Yeah,
7 and 10. It was 8-9, but the Quinshon thing happened. So 7 and 10.
Give me the path for this team to go 7 and 10.
Tell them about the NFL.
Could they have to win week 1, right? Because you're going to be like 2 touchdown underdogs in Baltimore week 2 when it's about 113 degrees on that turf and you're playing against Lamar Jackson, right? So you got to run the ball for sure. You got to play great defense. Denzel has to catch those interceptions, and you have to set the offense up.
Yeah.
And everybody in the first month of this season is just finding their way. That's just it's how it goes. It's super competitive. Find a way to win. The kicker makes his kicks.
Yeah.
You win the turnover battle. They have nothing from the run game last year.
Yep.
Historically bad offensive production early in the year. Miles jumps over a kicker, blocks a field goal. Rodney McLeod comes out of retirement. Richard, that's how you win. That's how you get off to a 3-2 start.
Yeah.
And now you figured something out, right?
Right.
And maybe everybody else, maybe Flacco plays great. Maybe everybody else has quarterback injuries.
Yeah. You
like,
never know.
This is not the least talented team in the league.
Right, yeah.
And if the offensive skill group is okay, then the talent level is right in the middle or above that, right?
Yeah.
There's not many, big picture, there's not a lot of young players that have done much. And the one who looked to be the best one, Martin Emerson, had a real crappy year last year, right? So,
Or Jay who's out for the maybe for his career.
So, there's only 25 guys. Take out the undrafted rookies. There's only 25 guys on this roster right now who are signed for next year.
Wow.
And one of those is Deshaun Watson, and one of those is J.O.K.
Oh, jeez. Wow, that is
So
really
you
bad.
need these
Yeah.
rookies to produce.
Yeah.
And you're second in the waiver wire through the end of September. You got to find. But it's just about, guys, finding your special teams players from within, right? Harold Fannin, even if it's not this September, being really good. Dylan Sampson, even if he's not an every down back, being your kick returner or your third down back and
Yeah.
a playmaker. Cedric, they've made a huge bet on Cedric Tillman.
Yeah.
By not by anything other than not drafting a wide receiver or just they've made a medium bet with no guarantees on Deontay Johnson. Deontay Johnson has had a 100-catch season in this league.
Yep.
And even last year, like the word was out, this guy is a pain in the ass, and teams kept taking him. He's been on 5 different teams in 15 months, but he can play.
And they need Mason Graham to be a star.
Yeah, well, next
Eventually,
to Miles,
not necessarily the first year.
Well,
But
to me, it's Malik Collins. They gave him $10 million guaranteed at 30 years old. Like he's got to produce.
yeah, Schlesinger.
He's been singing Malik Collins for weeks.
Yeah.
Thank you, Zach.
Schlesinger, I want to see him when the pads come on because he's so much bigger than all the other linebackers. And so, like, is he just? Did they feel like they had to draft him at 33 because he has the instincts, the speed, and like the size to hold up in the AFC North?
Is this a lost year for Judkins? I still think he's going to be a productive back in the NFL.
If we don't see Judkins in the next few weeks, then it's history says it's a lost year. I have no idea what's going on legally. I have no idea if the NFL will deem it 4 games, 6 games, or no games. We don't know.
Yeah.
But if the way that it's trending, yes.
Just because of all the valuable time he's missing right now.
Correct.
Yeah.
All right, Zach. Thanks for coming in today. Have fun out at camp, putting up with Jason, staying in the shade, and we'll see you
We'll
next
see
time.
what cockamamie ideas about the practice squad Jason can come up with today.
Listen, it was a passing thought in my head, all right? I was just thinking out loud. I talked it through, and I talked myself out of it by the
All
end.
right, yeah.
But the glare from him when I said, all right, now don't hit me, was priceless.
He should have hit you, I think.
I mean,
Joe
I
Flacco.
can't believe he hasn't hit me yet.
I looked at you like,
Like,
stop.
that's crazy.
You really pulling for straws.
I'm just,
Like,
I'm
stop.
trying to find a way to carry forward
like,
without carrying forward on the 50.
In 3 weeks or so, I have no idea what the temperature of the quarterback room is going to be.
Yeah.
Like external options. Is there a clear-cut starter?
Right.
Has one of the rookies pulled? I have no idea. I really don't.
That's
I
what
really
we're
don't.
going to find out in the next few weeks.
And for the record, I do think they can carry 4 on the 53. Like, so what if they lose? They're not going to be any good, so what's it matter? But if you're trying to protect all 4 while only carrying 3 on the 53, I was just trying to think.
All
of a
right,
way.
thinking
That's
outside
all.
the
Will you
box.
stop saying that?
Instead, you drop that.
Is 7 and 10 good?
It's middle of the pack.
It's not good.
Not good.
It's July 24th. Nobody knows, but Tyvus, they're not going to be.
You never know.
When they go 7 and 10, like I said, I
Are
want
you
a
going to
public
want
apology.
like kudos for going 7 and 10?
I just want a public apology.
Okay.
We'll
Fair
throw a parade around the old Ford plant
There you go.
when they go 7 and 10.
All right,
before the
thanks,
new table.
Zach.